that he couldn't take advantage of his master's wife, and he said, I cannot do it. He took a stand against evil. Is it not interesting that you can take a stand against good things, and you can take a stand against evil and be misrepresented and be implicated? He was implicated for running away from sin and running away from evil. He ended up in prison. This Joseph was going through something. Hated by his brethren, cast into the pit, misrepresented, sold into slavery, went into the house of Potiphar as a slave and a servant. Now, in a foreign land, a slave, nobody to defend you. No lawyer would take your case for you. There is no human right lawyer that can take your case and defend you against Potiphar's wife. You cannot say that the 5-star general's wife is lying. The army will come against that human right lawyer. So no lawyer will take his case. His father was in there to arrange for some lawyers to try and see how they can hear his side of the story. He wasn't given the opportunity to be heard. His master didn't want to hear him because the wife has spoken. And when the wife speaks, that is the end of the matter. God help men who listen to their wives than the voice of God. That's all I will say. Anyway, Joseph found himself in prison. He wasn't just put in an ordinary prison, ladies and gentlemen. The prison he was put in was the prison where the king kept his political prisoners. His political prisoners, enemies of state. So there were people who were on the side of the opposition and people who were on the side of the government. When they misbehave, they are kept in a particular prison and they leave them all there. And that was the kind of prison where Joseph was sent to. Joseph, for whatever reason, one should have been angry with God. That God, why? What have I done? Why is all this evil and adversities befalling me? What is it about me? I'm away from my father. He doesn't even know I'm alive. My own brethren have turned against me, and I have nobody, and I'm a slave. Just when things was beginning to work out for me, I'm being misrepresented, implicated, and here am I in prison. Nobody knows where I am. If I die the death of a prisoner and a slave, to throw his body somewhere. Nobody will ever know what happened to him. But he was still faithful in prison. He was not angry with God nor himself. He didn't blame God nor blame anybody. He did not seek for vengeance against his brethren. He wasn't cold like some people become when they are in trouble. They become cold. They become mean, frustrated, discouraged. Then they have an attitude of being hostile towards everybody because things have been worked out for them. There are some people in life, when they are old, they become bitter. An angry old man and an angry old lady because life didn't turn out well for them. I don't want to be an angry old man when I am old by the grace of God. And if you don't want to be an angry old man and an angry old lady, you must understand the processes of life. You must understand the protocol of life, the methodologies of life. You must understand how God works. Because if you don't understand how God works, you can abort your own destiny. And you can become an old man and an old lady sitting in a rocking chair, angry with your children and cursing your grandchildren. David was in prison. Joseph was in prison. He had a gift of dreaming, which was a key. He had a key. He could dream. Another key he had was interpretation of dreams. Whilst he was in prison, two men had a dream. Two men had a dream. The baker and the butler had a dream. And they told Joseph their dream. The first reaction, if it was me, I would say, a dream, bao, bao, bao. Dream. I don't want to be around a dream. It is, I am in prison because of a dream. I am a slave because of a dream. I become a prisoner because I dream a dream and I didn't shut my big mouth and I talked about my dream and it has ended on me. Oh, I don't want any dream. He would have held to his gift and said, I don't want to hear about anybody's dream and I can't interpret your dream. I can't help you. Hear me. Until you can help somebody to interpret their dream in the mix of your afflictions and your crisis, you will never be remembered. You will die in prison. You will die in the prison of life if you don't stop being bitter and stop being angry. And in the mix of your affliction and in the mix of your trouble and challenges, go out of your way. Help somebody, because you don't know who will remember you tomorrow. Put your hands together. Shout yes. The person he was helping was not a financial mogul. He wasn't a businessman or a businesswoman. The person was a nobody. It was a mate, another prisoner. Somebody who was somebody, but at the time he had his dream, he was a nobody. Sometimes we want to help people who will help us back. We want to help people who will do something for us. But you don't know that that person who is nothing and a nobody today, you don't know who they'll become tomorrow. So when you are helping somebody, go out of your way. Do it with your whole heart as unto the Lord, because you don't know who that person will become tomorrow. Is anybody hearing me? Put your hands together. Shout yes. Now, Joseph interpreted the dreams of these two men, the baker and the butler, and said to the baker, you'll be hanged, and to the butler, you'll be reinstated. Then he said to the butler, when you are reinstated, remember me. You know, when I was young and I help people, I always look out for them remembering me and doing something for me. And that is the problem with us as a people, especially those of us who belong to political parties. When you help a party or a president to come into power, when he comes into power, you want him to remember you. You want him to give you a position, even if you haven't developed capacity for that position. Because you help him, he must help you. That's the problem we have with our presidents, because a president coming into office, he has to give everybody a position. He must do something for everybody who helped him. Now, the people who help you to win the election may not have capacity to help you to govern. Those who help you to win election are one different kind. Then those who will help you to govern is another. There has to be provision to take care of those who help you to win the election, so that you are not indebted to them because they help you to win election. You must by all means find them something to do, even when they haven't developed capacity and they haven't gone through the process. You have to give them something to do, and that is how come they mess up, and they mess up presidents. But let me go on. Watch this. Joseph said, when you are reinstated as a butler, the chief chef of the president, remember me. The butler said, I'll remember you. You know how easy it is for people to promise when they have nothing and they are nowhere. Oh, I remember you. I'll marry you. I'll do this for you. Oh, I'll do this. Now lie. Tell somebody, now lie. Because the test of life has to do with what you do when you have power, and what you do when you come into relevance and you come into wealth or you come into money. What you do at that time tells who you are and reveals your true self. Until somebody has come into power and into wealth, and remembers his friend, and still treat people as human beings, and not act like because they have power or money, they are Alpha and Omega, you don't know who they are.